Hello and welcome to the Super Subjects podcast. Along the way, we plan to waffle on about the game and touch base on the many topics of football. This will include the good, the bad, and the VAR. One of our aims of this podcast is to become interactive with our audience. We'd really love you guys could follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Any likes, comments, and follows are greatly appreciated. We'll always welcome any suggestions and look forward to your feedback. On episode 1, we will look to discuss this weekend's matches and highlights, look at Man City's dominance, join in on the Foden and Grealish debate, also give our thoughts on the small topic of VAR and referees. So, let's introduce the team. My name is Liam, and I'm here with my fellow benchwarmers, Brett and Lockie. So gentlemen, how are we? Excited to get going?
Good, thank you. Excited to get going.
Yep, well up for it.
Good. Nice to hear. So while we're here, we'll just roll with it. So gentlemen, what do we love about the game?
So my name's Brett. I'm a massive Arsenal fan, so very happy this afternoon. I just love all football. I watch football from England, Spain, Italy, Germany. Obviously, high scoring games are the best. I just like good attacking, attractive football.
Lockie?
My name's Lockie. I'm a massive Leeds fan, so obviously pretty disappointed with today's performance. I love getting to live football matches. Doesn't have to be in England. It can be abroad as well. Can't wait for them to let fans back into the grounds.
Nice work. My name is Liam, as I just said. I'm again an Arsenal fan. Unfortunately, just add another to the team. I love the game, just what everyone else does. The raw emotion of what brings us all out. The period of 90 minutes that we go through is nothing like you can really ever describe in my eyes. I definitely feel like once the fans back, we'll have such an uplift to stadiums, and I think we'd all agree that we can't wait for fans to be back. Even though we love the football being on as much as it is, it's just, as everyone knows, it's just not the same. So really, where better place to start our first podcast discussion than on the match that took place this afternoon at the Emirates? I'm sure we all have our views and voices. So Lockie, if you'd like to go first, I'm sure as you just mentioned, you're a bit disappointed.
Yeah, very disappointed. I was sort of expecting an Arsenal win, which is upsetting to say, but our record in London is atrocious. We didn't turn up in the first half. Meslier with a few mistakes. 2 goals at the near post shouldn't be happening. And what he was doing to give the penalty away, I have no idea. Then to add a bit more insult, 4-0 just after the break. And then we actually decided to turn up for half an hour. So a bit of positives with Tyler Roberts played quite well when he come on. Costa looked all right when he come on, but overall, not a great performance.
I wonder if Alioski opening his mouth pre-game might have rallied up the Arsenal team a little bit.
No, we love Alioski. We've got no bad words to say about him.
Yeah.
Pep sat on the bench the whole game because he was so worried about Alioski. I think that was probably the best decision Arteta made all day.
I think playing Aubameyang through the middle was probably the best one he made, but just in my
he should have been doing that all season, but he likes to put him out on the left.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, no qualms with the result. The team that deserved to win won. It would have been interesting if we could have got a third. But very, very disappointed with the first half performance, especially.
Brett, what was you going to
say? What I will say is it was a great game to watch. As a neutral,
definitely.
You couldn't.
It always is though with Leeds United. Every match.
Most of the time, yeah, I can agree with that. And as I said at the start, it's one of those ones. As we know, Leeds fans are definitely going to be missing. It's such a shame that they're not there, and that is for games like it is today. Because if 4-2, as we know, that sort of half Bamford's penalty shout, if the fans were there, they'd have been going absolutely ape for it. So it definitely is. It was a game that we sorely missed, but we know we all enjoyed it in our own little way.
I don't know about the first 60 minutes. I don't think I was enjoying any of that. But what I will say is, for Leeds fans, I know they're missing the games, and it is a shame. But there's always next season because we're going to stay up. So definitely. It is going to happen. I don't think there's any question about us getting relegated now.
Do you not fear that along the way it will sort of end its tether as such, with the way, obviously based on Bielsa staying, which of course we all hope that he does, but do you think it will end its tether if you're not able to spend and sort of pick up better players in every area.
Well, we need to strengthen. I mean, that first team today,
but
it was our championship side from last season, apart from Rafinha.
Yeah,
so we've had injury problems, and to say we're 11th now.
Mm-hmm.
We've done really well.
But you think you need to change the way you play potentially, or not? Or you wouldn't. Okay.
I don't think they can.
No, but yeah. I mean, if you just
and I don't think that they should. I think that the way they play suits them. It causes opposition more problems than it causes themselves. Yeah, they're open at the back at times, but they're entertaining to watch, and you're always going to be game.
I don't think our style of football will get us relegated from the Premier League, regardless.
Not ever.
No, I don't think so.
You don't.
Not if we stay with Bielsa, but obviously that's not going to happen. I mean, I wouldn't be that surprised if he goes at the end of this season.
Yeah, I think Bielsa is a big question mark as to what happens when you go.
But when he goes, then we'll have to overhaul the squad, because it won't work with other managers' tactics.
Yeah, you're gonna have to hope he ties Bielsa down for at least sort of 2 years or so, get in some good players at least. Then if he is thinking about leaving, then you've got the setup there already, and people are not going to be too quaffed about it not being a Bielsa side as such. You're gonna I get it. Okay, no, that's fair. Like I said, I just wanted your opinion on if you could sustain it. And like I say, the main thing is to strengthen, which I know everybody needs to, but it was more of just a sort of direct question in terms of the way that you play sustainable. But there's no reason why not. You've come in and you're not going to get relegated this season, that's for sure.
I personally think we were slightly fortunate today. I think, as Lockie rightly said, for the first 60 minutes, the leads that we've seen this season wasn't really there, and I think we did well to take advantage. I've been critical myself of how unclinical that we've been, especially in the final third this year. And I think today we didn't create many chances, but the ones we were given, we did slot away. Aubameyang with a nice finish. Yeah, the Meslier should never be beaten as near post, but I think he was expecting the trademark Aubameyang curl into the far post. Aubameyang changed it up a little bit, which was good to see. And going back to Alioski, I think he would have wished that Pepe was on the field today, because I think Saka had him on toast over.
Yeah, Saka was unreal today. You can't deny that. He was unlucky not to get himself a goal, even though I think he was offside anyway when he hit the post, wasn't it? But he's different class. We don't have that really. We've got Rafinha, who looks like he's different class.
Yeah, there's your sort of one to look forward to if you can keep hold of him.
But we missed Calvin Phillips big time today.
You did, yeah.
Like if we had him there,
I don't think it was a coincidence that you started to play better the more that Rafinha got on the ball.
Oh no, I rate him highly. I'm so glad we've got him, and I really hope that we don't lose him in the summer.
Yeah, definitely. And just sort of going back to Arsenal, we were always quite cynical because we're at that weird stage. But it was definitely when you look at it overall, like to Arsenal to be 4-0 up at half time, you're like, no, hey, like it doesn't happen. So
it's only 3-0 at half time, man. Give us some credit.
Sorry, pal. Still taking it. Still calming down from the excitement.
Well, you haven't scored 4 goals in about 4 weeks, so.
Oh yeah, the fourth was 1 minute into the second half, wasn't it?
We're the only team in the Premiership can be 4-0 up and still be worried. To be fair.
Yes, as I say,
2-0 down. A lot of teams are worried when they're playing us, regardless, because they know what's coming.
Yeah, if we have 60,000, we can see 2. Tension in the Emirates is nothing like you'll ever feel again. Yeah, we've been there live, and Granit Xhaka.
There's a library in there, though, isn't it?
It can be.
I went there. I didn't hear a pin drop.
Yeah, no one's going to deny that. We've been there dark times. We're actually there for the Granit Xhaka palaver, and then after being 2-0 out, we drew 2-2 with Palace. So one of those. But anyway, as we say, a great game. The Premier League is what it is. Leeds are what they are, and unfortunately Arsenal are what they are. So this is what we can have, sort of carry on with a good season, I suppose, and do what we need to do. And
big 3 points for us. Though we've got a few tough games coming up, and it was vital we got a win today. To be fair.
Yeah, definitely. And as long as Leeds keep picking up points like they will, as Lockie said, they'll be completely fine.
Leeds are in no danger whatsoever.
Okay, so I think the next best game should start is sort of Liverpool's woes and Leicester City second in the table. I don't know, I can't really put it into words. Leicester just sort of, I suppose, going under the radar like they always have, and they're just going to keep doing what they're doing.
It was a game of two halves a little bit, really. I think Liverpool played very well first half, looked threatening, was controlling the game, really. I mean, they played their new young centre-back and he wasn't really troubled in the first half. He must have thought, oh, what's all the fuss around? And then second half, Leicester got on the ball, countered them, exposed the defence, and then that was it. I still can't believe how high line. I know it's Liverpool's game last season, especially with Van Dijk, Gomez or Matip there. They played a high line, and that was instrumental in their high press, which made them so successful. But it's just, again, especially against Jamie Vardy, you're just asking for trouble.
I think even Harvey Barnes as well is gone unnoticed. I think he scored like 12 goals I saw in all competitions, which doesn't sound a lot, but I think he's just having a great impact on the way that they play. And again, his goal was well taken. Again, as you say, it was on the break, and maybe stupid of Liverpool to do so.
I don't think he scores a bad goal, does he? Every single goal he scores seems to be a good one.
Yeah, that's true. Lockie, do you think Mo Salah dived?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd probably agree. Brett?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I don't think it was quite as bad as his dive against Man City, but he did dive.
Ball comes to him as the defender's coming to him, and he moves away from the defender onto his left foot. And I don't understand why he hasn't just tried to bend that in the corner. Instead, he's always looking for it, and he's going to start getting that reputation where, I mean, if he hasn't already, that he's looking for penalties, and that's never a good thing. I remember, was it one of the competitions, or it must have been the World Cup, that Neymar was just getting under the impression that he's got that impression. That's going to happen with Salah if he's not careful, I think.
I mean, you could argue it works both ways. So, like, you could argue that attackers have a reputation for diving, and then on the other end of the spectrum, you can have an argument that players like David Luiz, for example, have a reputation for making stupid tackles in the box and giving away penalties. It works both ways.
Yeah, very true. I mean, it was a quite good statement about Luiz, yeah, definitely. So why, yeah, on the reverse, is Salah not under that category, I suppose, to some degree?
I would think he is, yeah. I can't think of many other players in the Premiership that tend to go down looking for penalties as he does. The thing I don't quite understand is, like you mentioned, he was in a great position inside the box, so there was no need for him to go down. He was pretty much through on goal.
I'd say he's starting to look for it rather than look to score, which is not a good sign if you're a Liverpool fan or if you're Mo Salah, I suppose. So
you can't deny his talent, though. That's what I will say.
Again, I don't think we've quite appreciated the talent that he is. The amount of goals that he scored. I think he broke the record, didn't he? Was it the record to 50 goals? I think that was him last season. Again, I just don't think people appreciate it. I'm probably one to agree to that.
Another thing I will say about Liverpool, if I may, I think another issue that they are having this season, obviously it's been well documented that their injuries like Gomez, Matip, especially at the centre-back area, which has caused a problem in itself, no doubt. But I think another issue compounding it is the fact that they've moved Jordan Henderson back to centre-back. Now, Jordan Henderson has done a fine, if not better than fine, job at filling in at centre-back. I think in the future, when he gets older, possibly that could be a move for him when his legs go a little bit. But what I do think, it has caused them a problem in the middle of the park because their pressing was led by Henderson in the middle of the park.
Yeah.
And they've lost that somewhat.
Yeah, I think for them, yeah, you can't have Fabinho and Henderson at centre back. One of them has to be in the middle. I think Fabinho picked up a knock and he's out as well at the minute, which again it's terrible, of course, for them. But they're not the only ones. Leicester, as they documented on Sky Sports, Leicester have had quite a bad injury record, and obviously they're not complaining or doing too bad. But yeah, they need that drive in the middle, and unfortunately, Thiago doesn't bring that. Wijnaldum isn't the player that he was obviously when they won the title. I don't think. Again, on Thiago, what are your boys' thoughts?
He's a class player, but does he suit Liverpool's pace, energy? Probably not. But he is a creative spark in the park. Going back to Wijnaldum, I think contract issues could be on his mind.
Yeah, I think I heard that about Barcelona was in the mix.
Well, his contract's up at the end of the season. He still hasn't committed.
Yeah, I think he'll leave.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's sort of one foot out the door, as they say in football, I suppose. Also, the VAR call that we didn't expect to be given.
Yeah.
I think we're all expecting the VAR to come on. Oh yeah, here we go, offside, and then up flashes the green onside. And I don't think I've ever been more surprised about the VAR call as yet, to be honest.
Well, when I saw it, my initial thought was, "Oh, disallowed."
But I think it was just what was it? Firmino's heel literally was It's every millimetre now, isn't it? And I suppose, although we could argue, which we'll go into, I'm sure, that it's taken maybe too long, or you may agree, you may disagree. But I suppose, we're taking every millimetre, which I suppose maybe football shouldn't come down to such science, but the money speaks, doesn't it, at the end of the day, so they're going to do it. I think there's another man that Lockie quite likes on that Leicester side.
Yeah, Harvey Barnes. He's been in my dream team since the start of the season.
Nice.
I think he's got 8 goals in the Premier League, few assists, and when he's got other players around him as well doing bits, they look like they're definitely going to get top 4 in my opinion. I mean, I know we beat them, but that's because we're quality. Yeah, Harvey Barnes, he does score some bangers. I think he might be on Gareth Southgate's radar as well, maybe.
I think Harvey Barnes is criminally underrated. I think, in a way, it does him a favour that he's got players like Vardy, Maddison, and Tielemans that get all the attention and all the media. I think that does him a favour because he can go under the radar a little bit. But I think it's about time that someone gave him the credit that he deserves. He's had a brilliant season. He's dangerous. Like you said, he scores a worldie. I don't think I've ever seen him score a bad goal, to be honest.
Yeah, he's definitely been a big plus, and I think Maddison was out start of the season, and his introduction, obviously, his form has been awesome. So overall, I don't, in my opinion, I don't see them coming below second at this rate. They're just going about their business as if they would.
The only thing I would say to that is this time last year, you would have said they were shooing for top 4, and they fell apart at the end of the season. So this season is a big test for them to see if they can maintain their form. And when it comes to it, because that competition for the top 4 is going to be quite hot. I know Liverpool are struggling for points at the moment, and everyone seems to be very inconsistent. But no doubt they got a great opportunity.
Addison again seems to be struggling as well, just making blunders. 2 games in a row now. He's had quite mares. So all round, I think.
It's crazy what confidence or lack of confidence can do to a goalkeeper. You question everything, don't you?
Yeah.
I never let a bad goal in though. I was always safe hands, Lockie. So you haven't got to worry about me making Alisson mistakes if you ever stick me in your 5-side net. Not happening. That's another goalkeeper who's had a few nightmares. Hugo Louise. What do you guys think about him?
Well, they lost 3-0, and you could argue that 2 of the goals Lloris could have saved. I think the penalty. I think Man City they need to find a penalty taker really quickly. He should have saved that penalty if you're asking me.
Yeah, not because I'm an Arsenal fan, but I've never really put Lloris in like the top 3. Like even recently, obviously Ederson's been there a while. Alisson's been there. What was it, his 3rd season now? I've never really put Lloris as even near my top 2. Ederson's always been my guy that I felt is the best. I mean, they're all different to some degree. We know Ederson can pick out a pass, which we saw, and he's unbelievable with his feet. I don't know. I've never really particularly rated him as a goalkeeper. Not just because I'm an Arsenal fan, and obviously I dislike every Spurs thing on the planet, but I don't. Not for me. Potentially, it could be a time to move on, and it could be something that it is in Mourinho's thoughts potentially.
Spurs, especially at the back, of aging, aren't they? I mean, they've got problems. They've clearly got problems at centre back. I mean, they had Vertonghen and Alderweireld for years, who were 2 quality centre backs. They were very reliable, very rarely made a mistake. And now both have one's left and the other's getting on a little bit, and they're struggling to find replacements.
Yeah, I think we're seeing the same. I don't believe Eric Dyer is a centre back. I'm not keen on Eric Dyer as a footballer. Even not just because I'm an Arsenal fan of Spurs, but I'm never keen on being in him in the England side. Just don't think if he's going to play in a role, it's going to be taking up either a Henderson or a Rice, which I believe twice as better what Dyer could offer. Sanchez is still out there to be seen, although he's must have been about 5 years now with Spurs. he's still out to be seen if he's actually good enough or not. And I don't think it's very hard to judge Spurs only purely because Man City are just too dominant. They're just I don't understand how they are or why they are, but I'm slightly in awe if I look at it from a footballing term because it's just dominance and it's just great to watch and it's just great to have Pep Guardiola and his side in the Premier League.
I mean, you look at the last 3 seasons. Manchester City won the league 3 years ago with 90 odd points. Last year they lost the league. They come second in the league to a brilliant Liverpool team, and they were very close behind them. The gap between second and third last year was, and this year Liverpool are struggling, and City are just maintaining, just relentless. That's the word I would use, is relentless. They got so many players going forward that can cause you damage. Their squad depth is unbelievable, and yeah, you would think, and you could say that they've had bad luck with injuries this year. They've had Aguero missing for the majority of the season.
All of it.
All of it, yeah. Kevin De Bruyne, who for me is the best player in the Premier League by quite a margin. He's been injured and is still injured. But yeah, when one player gets injured, another one just steps up. You look at Gundogan this year; he's just been phenomenal.
Yeah, he's unplayable.
Yeah, Phil Foden stepped up this year. There was talk about him whether he should be going out on loan, and obviously David Silva left in the summer. He stayed at the club, and Pep has always backed Foden. And yeah, his performances, especially the performance against Liverpool, was outstanding the other week.
They're just strong all over the pitch. The centre halves have been quality. Cancelo has been different class since he's come in. I don't see them dropping many points for the rest of the season, especially as they're not leaking goals at all.
Yeah, praising Gundogan. But again, I know everyone will say the same, but Diaz is just probably the buy of the season at the minute. He's had the Virgil effect in terms of what he did at Liverpool. It's just that commanding presence that City have needed for a long while, obviously since Vincent Kompany left. And he's clearly brought that because of the stretch of games that they've now just done over people.
You make an interesting point. So I think Diaz has been outstanding this season, and Virgil van Dijk likewise has been outstanding for Liverpool. But if you look at the coverage in the media of the two differences between when Van Dijk was on form, leading Liverpool to a league title, he was the best defender this Premier League's ever seen. I don't see hardly any mention about how good Diaz has been. I think he's been outstanding.
I think they focus it a bit on John Stone as well, don't they? Obviously, where he's English and giving Gareth Southgate probably a bit of a headache now, which is great to see because I think that's where England needs to strengthen in the centre half, and it'd be good to see him back in there.
100% agree.
As we were speaking earlier about decisions to be made, you wouldn't want to be Gareth Southgate right now.
So who do you choose? Do you choose Foden or do you choose Grealish?
What, to have in the squad?
Who are you playing? No, your first game against Croatia. Who are we playing? Would you play Foden or would you play Grealish?
For me, Grealish is probably the all-round player. I don't think you can take away what Grealish has gone up, like probably another few levels than what he was. And that's all quite commendable, really, because Villa have needed that. Obviously, they struggled last year, and he was okay last year. But this year, everything is just sort of run through him, and that has brought up the performances of other people, hence their results and hence their league position. Okay, no doubt they've brought well in Martinez, and they've brought a few other little buys with Watkins as well. But yeah, sorry, Grealish for me is. I don't see how Grealish can be missed out, and I don't see how we can't start. And I know that means we have players missing out. If Gareth does, I think he's going to get a lot of criticism, and rightly so.
I think Grealish is slightly ahead of Foden at the moment, and this is nothing against Phil Foden, because I think he's an outstanding footballer with remarkable potential. And I think he could go on to lead England for many a year. Obviously, he's got more time ahead of him than Grealish has. Grealish is a bit more older, but I think Grealish is just coming into his own. I think he's I'm pleased actually that he didn't move in the summer. I think he belongs at Aston Villa. I think he's a leader at that team. You can see that they all look up to him on the pitch, off the pitch.
Yeah, they're slightly different players in terms of the reliance and their impact on their side. Of course, as we just said, City all over the park are great, so it is probably not quite easy because obviously that's not taking anything away from Phil Foden. But it's slightly easier, whereas the reliance on Grealish is greater. So that's why I feel he's taken so much pressure on his shoulders, and he's become a different player. And probably, in the top 5 players this season.
I'd agree with that.
It is very tight. For me, I'll be getting Foden in now, and I think he could be a mainstay for the next sort of 10 years in the England team. But I'd have Grealish there as well. But I'd like to see Foden start, and I'd like to see what he's going to bring to the national team. So I think he could be a great asset. But I won't have no qualms if Grealish does start.
Here's a question for you: can you play both?
Probably not room.
No, I don't think you can drop Sterling, to be honest, in my opinion.
Going with that Kane starts, which some would disagree that he shouldn't, and some disagree that they dislike him and he's not a good footballer and he can't finish for toffee. I still think that Sterling...
I think that's one thing he can do.
I still think Sterling has that connection, and they've had that for a few years now, and they're both in their prime players. Although, Sterling was outstanding last season. Not so much this season, but he must be doing something right.
They didn't have a connection when Kane didn't square to him against Croatia.
That is very true. I mean, we can all rue that, and let's just hope that doesn't happen again in 5 months' time. But let's wait and see.
No, but my thought was whether you could play. I personally think England will play with 3 at back with 2 wing backs. I don't think they should. I questioned whether you do a 4-2-3-1.
Yeah, I'd go that.
You can have Henderson and Rice holding, and then you can have Grealish, Sterling on the wings, Foden in behind Kane, perhaps.
It depends who takes that left wing position, because I don't think Sterling will probably go in the right wing. Not that he wouldn't say no, but you wouldn't. I wouldn't put Grealish on the right hand side. I mean, you could do. I'm sure Villa have done it before, because the guy drifts like the snow. To be honest, he's everywhere, isn't he? So yeah. But there's obviously something that isn't suited by Gareth, which none of us really can see. Maybe he doesn't like that he drifts, but yeah, I think it's going to be very difficult for him, and I think there's definitely room down the line just for a Gareth Southgate podcast.
I think that'll be happening.
Definitely. So the other games today, obviously we've had Brom and United. West Brom didn't play too badly, I didn't think.
What was Harry Maguire talking about? Did anyone see the interview?
Oh yeah, that's true. We can talk about that first because that was pretty ludicrous.
For me, Harry can come out and say, one, that they deserve to win the game. Let me be clear, having the ball, a lot of the ball, does not necessarily mean that you deserve to win the football.
And we know that as Arsenal fans.
We know that as Arsenal fans. And 2, for him to come out and say, I'll get onto the penalty in a minute, but for him to come out and say that Man United have not been getting decisions, that football club has been given over 20 penalties within the last year. How you can come out and say that they've been not getting decisions is beyond me.
Yeah, he stated outright that he thought it was a clear penalty. My argument was it was slightly clumsy. It's going to be a weak soft call. The defender isn't goal side, which is a mistake by him. He does have a bit of a pulse. He does run the risk. I think anyone that runs the risk now on VAR, especially with the inconsistencies of VAR, is going to put themselves in trouble. But for Harry Maguire to publicly come out straight away and say there's a clear penalty is as I say, ludicrous.
I'm really hoping that he hasn't seen the replay, because if he's seen the replay, then he's obviously ignoring the fact that he was clearly offside anyway.
Yeah, that's strange.
And I don't know about you, but when I get touched on my shoulder, my legs don't fall from. Because he wasn't exactly running at pace either, was he?
No, he was not. Not that I remember. I mean, the Bruno finish was good from his shin, but still decent goal.
How good's he been, by the way?
A nutch, again, sticks in my throat. But definitely, as I say.
We know how much you like United.
Unfortunately, not too much. But I in terms of footballing, I can't help but admire good footballers.
But yeah, going back to West Brom, I think they put in a good performance. I think Sam has an impact there, but I just think it's a little too late. I think they just distinctly lack quality.
Probably the toughest job that Big Sam's ever going to have.
Yeah, but one week they'll turn up and they'll get absolutely battered as well. You can't be having them results. Your 5-0 versus Leeds and the other few spankings. You spanked them 4-0, didn't you, at their place?
Yeah.
In the snow.
Yeah.
They get spanked a lot. I mean, to be fair, today they nearly nicked it at the end as well.
Yeah, big. Yeah.
Good save.
He has missed a great chance there.
Oh, I thought you meant the Harry Maguire header. Sorry.
No,
Diangana missed.
Yeah,
In the 87.
Diangana missed it from about 6 yards out, didn't he?
Yeah. Sorry.
Mm-hmm. Well, you could say likewise if it weren't for Sam Johnston, which I'm sure could be said for a few games this season, that United could have well nicked it, and it would have been that big head Maguire that would have done it.
What a save that was. What a save.
Yeah, definitely.
I would say the difference between staying up and going down, but I don't think that's going to.
No, I don't believe they're going to have enough. I think Sam probably should have just stayed in his armchair. No offence to the big fella.
I actually think they'll finish bottom.
Yeah, Sheffield United not been too bad, but yeah.
I'll tell you who will be breathing a sigh of relief that the bottom three are so far away, and that's Roy Hodgson at Crystal Palace.
Big Roy. Does anyone remember Roy the Redeemer on the cliffs?
Oh yeah.
That was brilliant. They look so bad without Zaha.
Yeah, if there's a definition of a one-man team, it would definitely be Crystal Palace.
Was it not? I think lost 18 and 20 and not scored in 16 of those. That is just from what I remember watching the game. But yeah, it's just terrible.
This sums it up, right? I was chatting to my mate from work, Crystal Palace fan. During the game, we said, "Oh, have you seen the score?" Yep, I'm glad, because they might finally sack him. And that sums it up from a Palace fan himself. I think it might be time for him to go.
Yeah, they're certainly struggling.
Do you not wait till the end of the season, seeing as they're not going to go down?
They might do.
Yeah, you can, but then do you want to wait and then get a new manager in, and the effect might not be, straight away do well? It might take a while to settle in, and they might find themselves in a relegation battle next season. You can get someone in now, and they can be used to the style of football and how it works with him.
Yeah, potentially.
Yeah, fair point.
Who would you get in though?
They could go Frank.
Yeah, they could go Frank. But who would want that job? I mean, right now, would you want that job?
Yeah, would he leave Brentford for Palace?
Maybe not.
I mean, I know Brentford lost today, but they're still in with a great chance of promotion.
Sort of talking of those sides sort of down the bottom. I don't know how you guys sort of feel about Brighton, and they seem to be playing good football but not getting results. Like they're picking it up, but they still need to be careful.
The board draw specialists. Teased the fans with some decent wins, and now the draws are back. They've drawn us just under half their matches, 11 out of 24. I mean, it's not a bad record. You're not losing as many games, but that's a lot of draws.
They say that the table never lies, but I kind of think it does a little bit with Brighton this season. I think their performances have warranted more points. Like I watched the game against Villa last night, and they should have won that game.
Yeah, they 100% deserve the points.
I mean, if Ollie Watkins was in a Brighton shirt last night and he had some of the chances that Brighton created, he'd have put them away. That is literally all that they're missing.
Yeah, I could probably understand why they let Glenn Murray go. He's the type of guy that always just seems to be in the right place at the right time, which is what they need right now.
I think it was a mobility issue, wasn't it?
Yeah. But then if you're going to go do it in a championship, surely you mobility-wise, you can do that in the Premiership. Just for...
Yeah.
There's not... Yeah, I'm not doubting that the Premier League is obviously a lot tougher, but in terms of if you're going to go play 90 minutes Championship, then surely you can do that in the Premier League. But again, I didn't see much of that game, to be honest. Did Grealish any good?
Villa were terrible. Yeah, it was probably the worst performance I think I've seen them have this year. They created nothing. Brighton literally stifled them. Grealish got the ball when there was 2 or 3 round it. Watkins had no supply whatsoever. They just crowded that left-hand side. They just said, "Oh, you can have it. They said you can have it on the right-hand side with Cash and Traore. We're not worried about that side. We just took the left side with Grealish."
I mean, a fair play to some degree, I suppose. I was going to ask you a quick trivia question because I was a bit spooked by this when I heard it on Match of the Day. McAllister for Brighton, the number 10.
Yeah.
What nationality do you think he is, or no, he is?
Argentinian.
Yeah, that flabbergasted me.
Scottish roots, I think.
I don't know why I thought he would be like, Irish or something like that. Yeah, that absolutely flabbergasted me. But glad you guys knew of it.
Good little player, though.
Yeah, not too bad again. But they've just got like good little players. Like, I don't understand why Trossard doesn't play every minute of every match.
Oh, he's superb.
Yeah, he's clearly their best player. Mopai can't hit the barn door at the minute, but if there's any way that that he would, it's going to be through Trossard because, he's the one thing that makes it click. But just again, my opinion, good little Belgian footballer who's just not getting enough time. I don't deny that Graham Potter is doing a good job. Some maybe disagree if you look at the table, and as you say, draw specialists. But if in that kind of side, the Seagulls probably realise that draws are better than losses, so they're not going to quaff too much. Just hope for Seagulls' sake because they're quite a well-liked side, I believe. That they can sort of push forward, and I think that should stem from Trossard playing in my eyes.
I'd rather be in Brighton than in Palace's or Newcastle's right back. Put it that way.
Yeah, I think Newcastle are going to find it tough tomorrow. So sort of more mid-table sides to join Arsenal and Leeds. We've got Southampton and Wolves. It wasn't a bad game. There's a few good goals. That's sort of all I can really say about it. The more I see
Neto's goal was really good.
Yeah, the more I see Neto, the more I think he's going to become one of the better players in the Premier League. Whether that means staying at Wolves is going to depend on a lot because they've struggled this year. Obviously, a big loss in Jimenez.
Wolves are funny side, aren't they?
Yeah.
You never know what they're going to get with.
No. I didn't expect that result. Obviously, you've been discussing sort of England players. We've had Danny Ings and Ward-Prowse.
Personally, for me, I don't think I'd take Ings. To be fair, I think I'd have Calvert-Lewin, Rashford, Kane, maybe Ings, but he's teetering on the edge for me personally. Even Watkins, maybe it was shout.
Would you not have Rashford as one of the wider players?
Well, that's the beauty with Rashford. You can put him both, so that's one spot for two potential positions. He's definitely going to go, isn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, it's tight. I wouldn't be surprised if he does get in, but I personally probably wouldn't. I don't think he's had the best of seasons. I mean, he's scored a few goals, but he's had injuries and that, hasn't he? And I think Calvert-Lewin's a shoe-in.
Yeah, last year he was very good. I think you'll be disappointed to miss out, and I could probably understand why. I'd quite like him to go, but I'm on probably the same agreement that Calvert-Lewin will go, just because he's a similar type of player. Do we take Ings as a not so similar player like we did with Vardy? Although I think we'd all say that we wasted Vardy when we took him, because he just didn't play, and what was the point? I tend to agree that I don't think he's going to go.
I'm disagreeing. I think he'll go.
Fair enough.
Yeah, as I said, I think I wouldn't be surprised, but personally, I wouldn't. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, again, we're not Gareth Southgate, and I mean, once the Premier League is its tether, or we can maybe chuck in an extra cast down the line just to have a Gareth Southgate debate and the tribes and tribulations of what's going to happen, and just a selection headache that even we're having now, and we aren't even doing it.
And that's the thing with Southgate. Once you've got your 20 midfielders, defenders, and goalkeepers in, you've only got 3 spots left. It's true. He needs 7 defenders for the starting 11.
I mean, we're going to have 5 right backs in there, so
at this rate, Kieran Tripper's going to be going.
Along with your 3 goalkeepers, there's 8.
Kieran Trippier is a shoe-in, mate.
Walker, he's barely any minutes. You've got Trent Alexander, who's lost the ball 500 times in a Premier League season.
Yeah.
Got Wan-Bissaka, who can't cross his T's. So we're up against it at right backs.
No, I just need Luke Ayling in there, mate. Class player. Get him in.
Needs a haircut.
Yeah, but he's class. I actually really, really think he's done great this season.
Please tell me you wouldn't select him for England.
I wouldn't, but
I was concerned.
He's class. He's good. He is good.
I mean, that didn't take long for a Leeds player to be mentioned. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring our first feature of our podcast. This is for our esteemed super sub Lockie, who each week will be providing us with his Leeds Legend of the Week.
Well, there's a lot of legends from Leeds United. I mean, I wasn't really sure where to start, but I had to think about my time as a Leeds fan, and that left me with only one player. Now, this player made over 500 appearances for Leeds, and that player is Gary Kelly. He started playing for Leeds in 91-92 season when we won the old First Division. before it changed to the Premiership. Unfortunately, he didn't get a winner's medal because he only played 2 games. But he was one of my favourite players growing up. And he only scored 4 goals, so he wasn't really good for that. But he was a mainstay in the team. And just because of his loyalty to the team, the fact he never played for anyone else, I had to pick him.
Did you ever see him live?
No brainer.
Did you
Sorry?
ever get to see him live, or was that too before your time?
Oh yeah, I saw him a few times. He was still playing for us until 2007.
Oh, wow. And he started in 91.
He retired. He retired at 32 in 2007. Just as we got relegated into League One, and absolute legend, Leeds United.
Can you remember any?
Couldn't pick another player.
Remember any of one of his 4 goals?
No, I mean 2 of them were in the same season. in the 90s. He wasn't a goal scorer, mate.
In his defence, fullbacks didn't really score back in the day, did they?
That is true.
No. But he did play right midfielder sometimes as well, but he still didn't score. But, you know, he was capped. He played in, I think it was 2 World Cups for Republic of Ireland. Uncle to Ian Hart, an absolute legend again. He scored a few more goals. I'm sure we might talk about him at some point in the old Leeds United Legends of the Week.
Yeah, I hope so.
But yeah, Gary Kelly for me, what a player. And like he was there throughout all the ups and downs, Champions League, right to losing in the Championship playoffs when we did.
Was he a club captain?
Oh, I don't know. He must have been.
Oh, no.
I'd hope so, with 500 odd appearances.
Yeah, 531 appearances for Leeds.
Incredible.
Yeah.
No, great choice.
You don't see that now, do you, really?
No.
No, not many players nowadays. But yeah, hats off to anyone that's made even close to that many appearances, to be fair.
Well, when Calvin Phillips gets there, he'll be introduced to the podcast.
Calvin Phillips. He's not staying at Leeds.
What a player. Why not? He loves it there. His nan says he has to, so hopefully he does as he's told.
I mean, we're all Nana's boys at heart, but it doesn't mean that she's going to play.
If my nan said to me, look, you got to play for Leeds for the rest of your life, then so be it.
Yeah, but you haven't got a top 6 side breathing down your neck. It's going to double your money.
Well, I've only got another 5 years, and we'll be a top 6 side, hopefully.
Yeah, we'll see.
We can all dream.
I
mean, Arsenal were a top 6 side once.
Yeah, now we're not even sure.
Yeah, if you play like you did today, you might be all right. First half, anyway.
Again, as we spoke about City, the consistency is just huge for everyone, hence why they're going to win the Premier League. I'm going to chuck it out there. I don't think anyone can disagree, and try to disagree if you will, but City obviously are going to just sort of stroll it from here on in. But yeah, Arsenal's consistency is certainly the big issue, along with many others, hence why the Premier League is at both ends is a bit of a jigsaw, really. We don't know where the pieces are going to go, so let's wait and see. We're just going to move on to our second feature of the podcast. So now is time for the Super Sub Prediction Showdown. So each week we'll be picking a handful of the games, and then we're going to go head-to-head to outscore one another. 1 point will be given for a correct result, and 3 points for a correct score. Obviously, we'll just tally up as we go. We have started this podcast during lockdown in the middle of the season, but who cares? The next round of fixtures that we will be will be highlighted next weekend games because we've just experienced the ones. So this week we're going to be giving over Saints versus Chelsea, the Merseyside derby. We've got West Ham Spurs, Villa Leicester, Arsenal Man City. United Newcastle, and we're going to throw in a Milan derby. So guys, if you are listening, thank you for carrying on and still listening. Please, if you want to get involved, drop us your predictions. We can get you added in each week. Just chuck us across, and yeah, we'd love to hear from you. So Brett, yeah, if you want to just chuck in your results, and then we can tally up.
Right, so I've gone Southampton 1, Chelsea 2. I've gone for a 1-1 draw in the Merseyside derby. And I've gone, I can't believe I'm saying this, but Spurs to win 2-0 away at West Ham. I've gone for Leicester to get an away win at Villa, 2-1. Unfortunately, I can't see much hope for us next week. I think we're going to lose 2-0 to Man City. I've gone Man United to get a 2-1 victory, no doubt with a Fernandes penalty. because they haven't been getting decisions lately. And in the Milan derby, I've gone Inter to beat AC Milan 3-1.
Very nice, very nice. And Lockie?
Right. This was difficult. I'll just put it out there. But I have gone for Chelsea to beat Southampton by 2-0. I worry for Southampton at the moment. They can't seem to get a result anywhere. I've actually gone for a Liverpool home win, 2-1, but I don't know why, because their home form at the moment is not great. I've thrown a bit of a spanner in the works. West Ham 1, Spurs 0. Aston Villa 1, Leicester 3. Sorry, lads. Man City, I've also gone 2-0. Man United 3, Newcastle 0. And I've also gone for an Inter Milan win, but only by 2-1.
Very nice, very nice, very nice.
So they're my predictions.
I also agree with Brown this one. I've gone Saints 1, Chelsea 2. Again, as you just said, Saints are massively struggling for any kind of result, as we found out today. I've gone for the draw again, Liverpool-Everton in the Merseyside. Although Everton just lost 2-0 to Fulham, I still think it's with the Premier League season the way that it is and Liverpool's form. I just think that there's definitely a chance, and predictions are probably the hardest they've ever been this year, and guessing who's going to do what. So your pick of West Ham beating Spurs is sort of none the wiser, but I also think the boys will be going. The boys of Spurs will be beating West Ham 2-1. I've gone 1-1 Villa Leicester. Not sure if I made the right call there, but I'm going with it. Yeah, but don't trust the Arsenal boys, unfortunately. I think we'll get a goal. So we'll go 1-3. United to do Newcastle 3-0. And I've also swung the other way. I'm going to go for an Ibra masterclass. He's going to put Lukaku back on his bum. And I'm going to go 2-1 Milan. 2-1 to the AC Milan, of course. So yeah, so we'll keep a tally of those, and we'll round it up next week and go again. If you do want to get involved, as I say, please let us know. So we've sort of come towards the slow end, but quite an important end in terms of footballing. There is one thing, VAR, simple question: is it good or bad in your eyes? Yeah, let's go.
Right. I just want to say first of all, I go to football matches to see goals. And when I see goals ruled out for the stupidest of reasons, it frustrates me. But on the other flip side, it has cancelled goals that shouldn't have stood. So it has its pros and cons, but I personally feel football was better with natural human error. So I'm going to say I'm against VAR.
So I've got a few stats here. So this season alone, VAR, before this weekend's round of fixtures, had disallowed 25 goals, 20 of which were for offside. Now keep in mind, some of the marginal offsides we've seen this season. Leeds on the receiving end of one, if I remember correctly.
Oh, don't remind me. Patrick Bamford's arm.
He was miles off, but carrying on. But there is a twist to it. So VAR have awarded 19 penalties this season, 8 of which were given for handball, which I think, but we'll get onto that. So you could argue that yes, it's disallowed 25 goals, but it has also awarded 19 penalties. May I wish I had Harry Maguire, that probably about 11 of them were for United. VAR has also given out 12 red cards this season. So undoubtedly VAR is having a massive impact on the league. Whether I think it's a good thing or a bad thing, I think it was summed up actually. I was watching, I believe it might have been the Leicester-Liverpool game on BT, and they had Darren Fletcher commentating, and I noticed a comment of his in the first half. So he was introducing the refs, and he was on VAR as they usually do, and he made a comment that I think he must have been at the Barnsley game during the week against Chelsea maybe, and he commented at how lovely it was that he was at a game in midweek that there wasn't VAR, and I think that just kind of sums it up a little bit. I think before VAR we were dying for it because these referees are making all these wrong decisions. Oh, how technology is going to make it so much better. But I think it just shows that the grass isn't always greener.
Yeah. Yeah, as I didn't notice that comment. So yeah, but well done for noticing. It's certainly that is quite eye opening for a character and a person of his stature in the game as such. To be making that kind of comment. Well, obviously, if that's how he feels, how is it making the millions of other football fans feel? Yeah, I would tend to agree. It's very difficult. Having thought about it long and hard, is it good? Is it bad? You can't really say yes or no because obviously it's eradicating errors that need to be eradicated, but it's also given us more headaches than probably we need. So it again, Lockie is very much of the of his opinion that he goes to live games for goals. I suppose you could say that giving penalties and scoring penalties is not probably the same as feeling an open play goal. Would I be right in that, Lockie? You wanna feel the emotion of a worldie going in rather than just Fernandez taking a stupid jump penalty to score.
Yeah, like you score the goal, the referee and the linesman doesn't think there's anything wrong with it. The whole stadium's erupted and celebrated, and that's it. And then you look back at match of the day and you go, that probably was offside. We were a bit lucky there, but that was the beauty of the game. Human error. It was that's what I enjoyed. I mean, I still love football now, but it's frustrating when you celebrated your team scoring a goal and then the next thing your stud's offside or you're pointing to where you want the ball and then next thing that's offside, even though you can't use your hand to score a goal. Just don't get it.
Yeah, the science has definitely taken over the game in terms of your stud being the factor of why a player is on or offside. So it's
So I think there's two ways of looking at that. I think we've got to be very careful. If VAR is here to say, and I can't see any reason why we're going to get rid of it now, I don't think we will. I actually think that offsides is probably one that you can't really argue. Black and white. There is no grey area. Either you're offside or you're not. Whether it's a toe, a stud, or a arm. Arm I probably get is different because you can't technically score with your arm. I get that. But at least with offside, black and white, you are offside. You can't really complain. Whereas other decisions that VAR have been getting involved in are down to interpretation.
Yeah. Offside is one of those ones that you definitely can't particularly disagree, but there has been occasions where those also haven't sort of tallied up. There's been occasions where, as you say, Bamford won, which Lockie's going to agree with, and I think there was one with obviously even the one where Sadio Mane, I think, got away with one.
Merseyside derby.
Yeah, again, so that is it's called the same with the same kind of situation where you're comparing two scenarios and it still doesn't tally up. Where as you just said, it definitely should.
But didn't they change the rules as well with handballs? So at first, the start of the season, any sort of handball in the box was a penalty, and now they've changed it. So there's inconsistencies with ruling there because there's penalties that have been given earlier in the season that wouldn't be given now. I mean, how can you change the rule halfway through the season or a few games into the season? I don't understand.
Yeah, we've introduced sort of a new concept of the game, which is going to take a while. You would imagine someone like the Premier League would have gone down every narrow and every street and every nook and cranny to make sure, but I suppose it's a new thing for us all, so it is going to happen to change a rule. Whether it was the right or wrong thing to do, I couldn't tell you.
And I think, like, also with the VAR, I have to mention the Souček red card last week. I mean, how is he sending him off for that? That's never a red card. And I feel sorry for Mike Dean. All the online abuse, he doesn't deserve that. No one does. But I think he's made that decision because he feels that's what other people want him to make. The people that are telling him to go to the screen, send him off. Well, how can you send him off for that? It wasn't violent. I just don't understand. But because he's been told to go to the screen, all of a sudden he feels obliged to change his decision, in my opinion. I don't think that's right.
But then I don't think that's a VAR problem.
No, it's not.
I think that's a referee problem.
Yeah, but I agree with that. But I personally think he felt under pressure to do that because he got told to go to the. So rather than doing what he felt, which was obviously no red card, he's felt like he's had to send him off.
He's sort of he's struggling.
In my opinion, I think if he hadn't been told to go to the screen, he wouldn't have taken a second look at that. No way.
No.
Yeah,
But it's another referee telling him.
It's whether the VAR is sort of aiding the referee. As you say, the handball situation, was it working before? No, because it could have touched any part of, what is it now, the end of the shirt
the
down.
sleeve,
Yeah, the end of the sleeve down. Yeah. Is it working now? It's up for debate because we even see today a difference in the Saints game where the penalty got given. So again, it's just here for one. Even though we changed the rules, like you said, it's still up for debate, really. When considering, I don't know how you boys feel, but I personally feel that every player now is sort of trying to persuade the referee of any dubious touch towards the arm area, and they're just sort of shouting to the hills, and it just tell enough of the story that we're still not close to solving that one because they know that if they know the rules inside out and they know that this is going to be given and that's not, then they wouldn't be. But I just feel like they're just trying to push all the buttons to get any advantage and get a penalty be given because they know that potentially anything can be given.
Yeah, that's natural though. They're going to do that because they know there's a chink in the law where it comes down to interpretation of an individual. So if you get the right individual on the right day, you're going to get that decision.
Yeah, I'm just saying even more so now this season than there has been any other season because they know that because the
law isn't clear.
Yeah,
and even the lawmakers can't make up their mind to what handball is. I can't see how the one today, for example, the Bertram one, I don't see how that can be given as a penalty. The guy's 2 yards away and the bloke's pelted at him. Yeah, his arm's out, but he's clearly trying to block the ball with his foot because he's got his foot up.
Yeah,
I can't see how you can interpret that as a deliberate handball. And I thought handball is only for deliberate. You can't give it for someone smacking the ball at your hand.
Yeah, I think deliberate has definitely gone out the window at the minute. Because that was always my impression, and it's if you're using that word deliberate as your go-to word, then you cannot say that even half of the handballs that are given are deliberate because that's not the case. But it is what it is, and we'll, as I say, I think
you're never going to get it iron proof, are you? I mean,
no.
It's at the end of the day, handball is going to come down to interpretation. But I do think common sense has got to come into it, and I think that's kind of gone out the game a little.
Yeah, I think as we sort of touched on, there's too many chefs that are sort of spoiling the meal as such because there's too many opinions on what's a penalty, what isn't a penalty. As Lockie said, what's a red card, what isn't a red card.
But what I will say, so whether we agree with VAR or not, the one thing I think it has done, and I don't mean to be too critical because I know refereeing is probably the hardest job. It's not easy, but I do feel that VAR has kind of exposed them to how incompetent some of the referees in the Premiership are. You've given a couple of examples already. I mean, the Souček one was just ridiculous as far as I'm concerned. Anybody with two eyes can see that he had no intention of elbowing Mitrovic. Even Mitrovic said it was an accident. And yet he takes 5 minutes to go over to a screen because his fellow colleague has told him to. He's viewed it about 20-25 times and then finally come to a decision that, he meant to elbow him. He's got to go off and get banned for 3. And then on the following Monday, the FA turn around and say, oh, no, that was the wrong decision. But yet there's no accountability for these referees. Like, these refereeing decisions cost teams points at the end of the day. And you look at last season, Aston Villa, they're flying high this season. They had the ghost goal against Sheffield United last season. That gets counted. Villa could be down in the Championship right away. That's millions and millions of pounds. And these referees And I get that they're trying their best, and I do not condone whatsoever any abuse, death threats to individuals, because nobody deserves that. But I do think that there's got to be a level of accountability. Managers get sacked for poor performance, should I say. Players get dropped. Yet the referees, they can make 2-3 mistakes in a match. Nothing happens, and next week they'll be back refereeing a Premier League game again. Lawmakers, I don't think, help referees. Like we've discussed, they've changed the interpretation of a handball rule. And you can also look at the offside rule, which they've changed this season. For example, Bernardo's goal against Aston Villa this season, where Mings takes the ball down, Rodri, from the header forward, was in a miles offside position, walking back. And then as soon as Mings touches the ball, he's then onside, even though he's about a yard away, dispossesses him, and Bernardo scores a fantastic goal. Now, I don't, like we discussed earlier, we don't want to see goals disallowed. At the end of the day, we like goals being scored and watching goals go in. And it was a great goal, great finish. But no way that goal should have stood. No one knew that rule, not even the players. And then for them to come out a couple of weeks later and say, oh, if that happens again this season, that goal will now be disallowed. I don't get how that can, one, help the referee, or two, make it clear for anybody watching the game as what the law.
Yeah, it's definitely made them look incompetent. Like you can't do that. Like 12 hours after the goal has literally just gone in, and you're saying no, that goal is not going to stand from now on. Like it's just incompetence at its finest. I think.
I think the issue is that you got no. I think what needs to happen is they've got Mike Riley running at the moment. He was a terrible ref in himself, but you need to get some former players on. I've always said this: someone that's played the game, understands the game, and just assist the referees. Because at the end of the day, without referees, you wouldn't have a game of football. So they're just important as 22 players on the football pitch. So I know we criticise me more than most, but I think they just need help. They need training. They don't need to be the scapegoats rather than, oh, you can go out on the pitch on a Saturday, get abused, make bad decisions, and then just go back out and redo it all again next week.
Yeah, certainly, and also the sort of the errors, if made, are only being pushed into our faces and are only being broadcasted hundreds of times from every replay, from every angle. So it's not helping, as you say. Then they shouldn't be the scapegoat. But if we can sit here at home seeing what we can see, then we're going to make them the scapegoat. Not because we want them to be the scapegoat, because naturally that if Patrick Bamford goal gets disallowed because of his arm, then Lockie is going to feel like the ref is to blame, or VAR in this case. But yeah, to some degree, yeah, the errors are being pushed in our face, so it's just not helping them at all.
And the issue I have with VAR is the VAR stands for video assistant referee as well. But yet, when I was watching BT the other day, they have Peter Walker. No, I just can't stand it. But that's neither here or there. But he actually came out with this today. So he said that VAR isn't there to make the correct decision. VAR is there to spot any mistakes. Now, how can that be right? I just don't understand it. I would have thought that the video assistant referee was there to make sure that more correct decisions were made.
You would expect so. I'm not a massive fan of Peter Walton either, if I'm honest. But again, that's not. I just don't think he helps BT. I don't think he helps himself, as you've just proven by what he's just said. So, yeah, it's a difficult one. We won't be trying not to be too cynical, though. Like I say, there is part of it that has helped the game. It's hard to say what that is exactly, but it's cleared up some grey areas. Well, yeah, I think we've discussed VAR enough for now, and I think we sort of rounded up that referees certainly need our help. Well, not us personally, but they need help and shouldn't be made scapegoat, and that is what it is. So, yeah, gentlemen, any other sort of thoughts of how this week's gone, or how do you feel about the podcast?
Thoroughly
I've enjoyed
it.
it. Yeah, enjoyed it. Not so much the football this weekend, but onwards and upwards for next week, hopefully. And hopefully I do all right in the old predictions game.
Game on.
Looking forward to that. Can't wait.
I'm sure there'll be some terrible predictions.
Oh, absolutely. I predicted West Ham to beat Spurs, but
hey, we'd all enjoy that one.
Who knows?
We'll find out who knows their stuff for sure.
Good. No, glad. Yeah. Well, thank you, everyone. If you are listening, apologies, as this is our first podcast, so we are sort of on the ropes and we're slowly working our way. But that's our number up on the board for this week. We got subbed off at 60 minutes. But just like this podcast, we're just sort of building up our match fitness, I suppose. So watch this space. And really hope you enjoyed this week's content. Please get involved. If there's anything you'd like to discuss or you just want to get involved, please do. So yeah, thank you guys. Our DMs are pretty much as open as the Leeds defence. So yeah, that all they're open. Please drop in. Aubameyang popped in earlier, so I think he popped in free actually, but we won't mention that. Until next time, guys, gentlemen, thank you.
Thank you very much. Enjoyed it. Have a good week.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate all the support, guys. Please get involved, and we will see you on the next podcast. Take care.
Bye.